Jumping right in here, Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Timeball Games in Bellingham, Mass. A Chalice at 1, Force of Negation by Rangoon Platoon. And now a turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer gets Force of Willed. Still new threat on board. And now we see a young Pyromancer. A Golos triggers. And these Ancient Tombs doing massive damage to Squad 7. He's going to grab an Eye of Ugin. Ponder, creating a token. Golos, just a 3/3, can be cleared by Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. And a Delver coming down. Wasteland taking out the Eye of Ugin. Cavern of Souls. And we've got a Thran Dynamo. It's going to be just 3 in the air, down to 7. Golos keeping Pyromancer and its elemental buddies at bay for now. Down to just 4. Cavern of Souls being tapped for Karn. And Ensnaring Bridge being cast. Hellbent. Any burn will do. Anything shy of that, not going to work out. Plenty of mana. A blast zone now, and things continue to get worse. Karn grabbing Mycosynth Lattice. And jams a Lattice. Needs to be able to play cards each turn. Grim Monolith. Karn ticking up. Gaining a little bit of life. And at this point, Rangoon Platoon simply hoping that Squad 7 draws some cards that they're unable to cast, which is pretty unlikely. Liquid Metal Coating. Plays the coating. And now another Karn. City of Traders coming in, and the mana base being obliterated. I mean, already unable to cast anything thanks to the Mycosynth. Thought-Knot Seer shows a hand with Force of Will, which is actually not usable in this situation. Mycosynth Lattice not only making everything artifacts, but also colorless, so you can't even force pitching a blue card. Just a throwaway line of text on there, which gets most people the first time they're in that situation. Ugin, and that is a reasonable win condition from there. And that's going to be it for game number 1. So Squad 7 picking up the first game here versus a team that's had a ton of success. Rangoon Platoon, actually winner of multiple of these team trio opens, showing expertise in Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. Blue-Red Delver, an excellent selection overall, both in the meta and in Legacy in general. It's in a more wide open meta as well. I think Blue-Red Delver has a ton of consistency, also has game versus the most broken stuff in the format, and now, thanks to Brazen Borrower, even has main deck ways of dealings with things like Chalice of the Void, which potentially, in the past, would just be game over. It's also nice that it doesn't really care about Blood Moon the way other Delver strategies do. It has quite a few spells that it can resolve off just a single island. So if you do fetch out your basic island, I mean, you're totally fine. Very simple mana costs. Talking 1 in the red for your Dread Hordes and your Pyromancers, which of course are not impacted. And particularly in this matchup, we're going to be looking at Chalice of the Void and how it stops the cantrips, the early Delvers, all of that. And if Rangoon Platoon can jam an early Delver, they'll be in much better shape. Even Karn is a completely different proposition when you have a 3/3 flyer that can just clear the Karn. So if they do get a Mycosynth Lattice, it's actually not going to matter. You just kill the Karn, and you'll be able to unlock all of your permanents from the one-sided ability of Karn, which is, again, they didn't need to do that. The card would have been pretty good just as a balanced, what would you say, symmetrical hate piece like the original Null Rod. Would have still been playable. Instead, super busted, actually to the point where it is restricted in Vintage. I've had quite a few printings this past year make just huge impacts. Some of them actually to the point where cards have been banned or restricted in Vintage and Legacy. Not really as worried about Pioneer and Modern, but Vintage and Legacy bannings and restrictions are significant events. Wrenn and 6, probably the biggest story of last year. And now Oko kind of reigning as the Supreme Planeswalker. Turn 1 Delver into a turn 1 Chalice. It actually resolves, and we'll see how Rangoon Platoon deals with this, or if they're just going to try and ride out Delver and protect it. Double Wasteland. A devastating opening, but now we've got Blast Zone, a card that might eventually be able to clear this Delver. Will he have the time? Grim Monolith. That gets dazed. Monolith would have actually allowed this Delver to be cleared on the very next turn. Down to just 7 for Squad 7. Walking Ballista, only 1 counter. Down to 4. Another Wasteland, so 3 Wastelands versus this super greedy non-basic mana base. And that is it. Exactly how Delver draws it up. Getting turn 1 Delver, and then just disrupt until the game is over. In that instance, we were seeing a daze and 3 Wastelands, so 4 pieces of disruption. So even though that Chalice came down, still absolutely devastating. Ancient Tomb doing that extra damage, also helpful. A trade that Eldrazi post player is always going to be happy to make, taking that 2 damage on the first turn to get down that Chalice. I mean, that's why it's in the deck. Now Eldrazi post going to be on the play. A game apiece. Delver making a couple of adjustments. Being on the draw, days significantly worse. Likely the change that's going on here. Just really feels bad to set yourself back a land on turn 1. There's often when you're going to need it. Or want it. Once they can start paying the extra 1, that's, again, it loses a lot of its luster. Mulligans for both players. We'll go ahead and skip the shuffling. So Squad 7 leading out with Glimmer Post. Fairly underwhelming opening, gaining a point of life. And copying Glimmer Post. Not really ideal use for Vesuva. Much happier copying Cloud Post. Now Eldrazi Post. Do we have a 4-mana effect? A Thought-Knot Seer. And it looks like pretty easy choice here. Is that a Brazen Bar? Oh, there's a Lightning Bolt there too. Oh, and a Braid. That's what it is. So a Brazen Borrower is actually going to be able to bounce this Thought-Knot Seer back to hand. Golos being cast. Again, a creature spell, so Force of Negation not able to handle it. Brazen Borrower bounces the Thought-Knot in response, drawing a card, hoping for that card to be a Force of Will, and it is. Force of Negation being pitched. Everything coming up Millhouse here for Rangoon Platoon. Getting some damage in. Should be 2 elemental tokens. I'm not sure if he missed one there. A Trinisphere. And now another Thought-Knot. That whiffs. And if Delver flips, we're going to have a bit of a problem. $19 life, an awful lot. Squad 7 with that Trinisphere in play. Definitely making a lot of Rangoon Platoon's cards much worse. However, some of them still going to be castable, so something like Brainstorm here actually not the worst compared to when you have a Chalice out. I mean, you're happy to pay 3 mana to get the effect of Brainstorm plus a fetch land in this situation. It could be totally fine. This is really anybody's game, despite the heavy disruption. A Golos coming down. And Eye of Ugin gonna set up some quick action here. End of turn, Brazen Borrower coming in as a 3-power creature, and now during the upkeep, Brainstorming, looking to get in 6 damage. It's going to be 6 and then another 6. This is a 2-turn clock that Rangoon Platoon's setting up. Fetching away. Not interested in having another cantrip on top. Not exactly worth the 3-mana investment. Just going to take a shuffle instead. Random card here, random card next turn. And it is all back on Squad 7. Can they handle this aerial assault? He is counting up the situation again. This Eye of Ugin not going to get it done. Ratchet Bomb. Ratchet Bomb not going to be able to clear the Delver of Secrets any longer. Now they have the mana cost of the original side, so it comes in with one. Ratchet Bomb comes in with 0 counters, and the Delver actually costs 1 mana now, even when it's flipped. So, Squad 7, fist bump, moving on to the next round. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.